Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eric Mutschler, and as president of the association ALLÉES-AVENUES, Allées d'Avenir, that I have the great honor to welcome you for the first symposium, a two-day symposium, which is an international symposium on allées-avenues and tree avenues organized in France. And allées-avenues is a rather recent association, so since we barely have 1 year of existence, and as its name suggests, that it's of course, it deals with avenues, alleys, tree alleys, and avenues in English actually. So the Allées-Avenues actually has 5 objectives. The first one is to contribute to the knowledge of the heritage, the cultural, natural, landscape heritage that are the avenues, and then try to raise awareness, train and inform also the general public and the professionals about its values. And then also try to enhance this heritage and the good practices, promote economic activities and the resulting employment, and also try to protect the existing avenues, renew them, develop them, support various actions and actors and players working in the same direction. So I'll tell you right now, actually, though I'm a journalist specialized in ecology and sustainable development, I'm well acquainted with the ecological aspects, but I'm rather an alien in the field of tree avenues, actually. So I appreciate them, and I appreciate the streets and the roads. They're lined with trees, but yet, in fact, it's Chantal Pradine, during an interview in 2012, actually, who told me about these tree avenues full of history, and, where France had a very important part to play. And they always are there to be highlighted and enhanced. And since, the idea, have progressed, and now it's a great joy for us with the members of the Allées-d'Avenue to help and support Chantal Pradine, and whose name is now becoming known to those who are interested in this heritage, actually, and whose action in recent years has brought France into step with Europe in this area. So since 2016, as a matter of fact, tree avenues are protected by law in France. So it's Article L3503 of the Environmental Code. And the lawyer in environmental law is happy to know this, as I am a lawyer as well. So it is necessary to highlight this heritage and enhance it. And this is what we wanted to do with this conference. So by welcoming you from Belgium, Germany, Poland, Italy, Great Britain, or Luxembourg, and elsewhere in France, then we are in the spirit of European cooperation that underlies the European Landscape Convention. It's an international symposium, as I mentioned, various countries, just to see. Where are Belgium? Where are the Belgians? Where's Belgium represented? Where are you? Could you raise your hand, please? Where are the Germans? German, please stand up, please. And where are the Polish? Polish, stand up, please. Thank you. There's one Polish person. Italian people. Thank you. And the British people, stand up, please. Extraordinary, fantastic. Now, in this respect, actually, it's a great honor to welcome Mrs. Magdalene de Jean Ponce, who is the Executive Secretary of the Convention at the European Council. The European Union, for its part, has designated in 2018 as the European Year of Cultural Heritage. And the objective actually is to encourage European citizens to discover, to explore the heritage in order to strengthen the feeling of belonging to a common European space. And so the symposium has been awarded the label European Year of Cultural Heritage, which is a recognition both of the cultural nature of these tree avenues and of the interest also that the symposium can represent for the European cohesion and consistency in Europe. Now, yesterday was the centenary of the armistice. We might never have had the courage to organize an international symposium without this date, and especially if we had not been aware of the work done by our Australian friends of TreeNet for the centenary of the First World War with their project Avenues of Honor. And that's how we discovered this practice of planting trees in alleys for soldiers who fell on our soil. Now, without the important communication work, then we would probably never have identified this aspect of the history of the avenues, and yet it is so rich in human resources that it seemed essential to make it known. So, and that's the way this idea, Symposium Tree Avenues, was born from the War to Peace, which obtained the label Centenary 1418 from the Centenary Mission, and the label Thank You also from the British Royal Legion. And so it is not a French conference, it is not a European symposium, but it is an international symposium where we also welcome participants from Australian. Please stand up. Stand up, please. Well, great in numbers. New Zealand, the United States, Canada, and even Niger. So it's an international symposium at Liffol-le-Grand. We have to dare, actually, Chantal. You really dared organizing this there. And you'll see, I mean, Liffol-le-Grand is a town with 2,000 inhabitants in a rural territory with a population density of about 30 inhabitants per square kilometer. So Liffol-le-Grand is in the Vosges department, and so several of us probably will remind that an English officer, Gillespie, had expressed his wish in 1915 that a road from the Vosges to the sea, lined with trees, be built along alley, along sacred road, in memory of the sacrificed soldiers. Now, why Liffol-le-Grand then? Why precisely Liffol-le-Grand? The battles of the First World War took place in east of the Vosges department, and so we are in the west, actually. Well, I mean, because since 1917 we say that all roads lead to Rome, then, but this is no longer true. It is well known nowadays, all roads lead to Liffol-le-Grand. And with the American headquarters and Pershing in Chaumont, the western part of Vosges became the place of operations when in 1918 we moved from war to peace, and Liffol is one of the focal points of the 75,000 tons of daily supply that the United States had planned to bring to France on the French territory. On the top, I mean, under the red circle is written Lorraine, and just underneath it's Liffol-le-Grand. And so in addition, it is also in this part of the department that the most tree lanes remain, much less actually than in some of your areas, and these tree lanes were existing at the time of war actually. So organizing a conference in Liffol-le-Grand was therefore quite logical. And also inviting people to rural areas, it was a good idea as well. So 80% of the OECD population lives in cities. 80% of the French population lives in cities on 20% of the territory. So it's often where major events are being held, where specialists and decision makers also meet to discuss what they best know, that is, the large cities. Now, the remaining 80% of the territory an empty territory. They are inhabited, and they have a history. They got their heroes. They have allies, and this is where landscape economic issues are the most crucial. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Liffol-le-Grand. We would like to greet the municipality. Unfortunately, Mr. Cyril Vidot and his assistants were unable to join us this morning, but they will join us tomorrow. And so the municipality has done a lot of work to make this room pleasant and fully operational. So it's like the Olympic Games being organized. And so we also thank the technical services who did everything they could to make sure that this everything runs smoothly, actually. And so this will be the case, just like in a big city. And yet, I mean, this conference wouldn't have been held without you, because there are just over 110 people with us. So thank you for taking your time to come and join us in Liffol-le-Grand. And so, however, this conference could not have been held without the financial support of the Avenues lovers, but above all, the Ministry of the Armed Forces, the Banque Populaire, Alsace-Lorraine-Champagne, the Val-Or, the French Interprofessional Association of Horticulture, Florists and Landscape, the public work company Colas, Noremat, the leading French manufacturer of equipment for roadside maintenance. Also, we would like to thank for their financial support Viry, a Vosges company, Mahler MS Technique, a company in Lorraine, also a Burgundian company, Jacques-Frédéric Munier, the great East region, also two German companies, Excite also, and Dalim Software. And also associations like Arbres, Parks and Gardens of Lorraine, and Route de France. And so it is a kind of eclectic ensemble which reflects exactly what we regularly see, that is tree avenues are quite interesting for many people. It's a real topical issue, and if our conference dedicates this Monday to history, then tomorrow we will talk about topical events, and we will see what the avenue is made of with the Allées Horizon 2030, and then we will also award the prize Prix des Allées with major French Landscape Protection Association, the Sites et Monuments, Site and Monuments Association, also known for its historical name of Société for the protection of landscape and aesthetic and beautification of France, and its nickname SPEF. There's also some financial support, which is essential, but also moral support were very important. Moral support from people who couldn't join us for this two-day conference. And also Laurent Fété, President of Paysages de France, President also of the French Landscape Federation, Henri Bava, then Monique Siegfried of the US World War I Centennial Commission, Mrs. Nasrin Azimi is the coordinator for the Green Initiative, Hiroshima, United Nations, planting trees as a symbol of peace for people who died in Hiroshima, or Jean-Pierre Thibault, also at the Regional Council for Sustainable Development. And so there's also people, photographs, and because we asked the people to shoot our symposium so that they will be downloaded on our site and YouTube site. Now, if you do not wish to be in these footage, then please tell us so. There's also Mathieu Flammarion who joined us. We asked him to make a comic from this symposium. Where is he? Yes. But then I will come back to this topic. And also I would like to thank our interpreters, Marie-Louise Diomède and Fabrice Adam, who are working in the back ground drop, say. And before we give the floor to Denis Cordonnier, who is going to be the master of time today, and he will have the delicate task to help us move to Horizon 2030, I'd like to tell those people who cannot stay with us this evening, it's a pity, actually, it's a pity for these people who cannot join us this evening, because not because, I mean, you won't be able to taste Lorraine's specialty, but because you won't be able to attend an extraordinary concert, because there will be an extraordinary concert this evening which connects us to the sky. Now, Angénie Primitevi and his colleague then are with us today and will sort of caress and strike their sound trees. So for the different speakers will come to the podium, I would like to ask them to start their presentation with a very small sentence in their native language, in French, for example, saying, I like tree avenues. In English, maybe, I love tree avenues. In German, maybe, ich liebe die Alleen. I won't say it in Nigerian, but still, I mean, you understood the principle. So we rely on you. And I wish you a fruitful symposium at this international symposium in Liffol-le-Grand. Thank you very much. I'm going to really start with what you asked us to do. So, j'aime les allées d'arbres. I like the avenues. I'm going to be the master of time then, and so I will make a short presentation of each of the speakers before they take the floor. I'm going to do it for you, Eric, and then you can also go on the website. Eric, so you're president of the association ALLÉES-AVENUES, Allées d'Avenir, Future of Avenues, and you're also a journalist in charge of sustainable development, okay, and broadcasting on sustainable development as well. So now I would like to ask to the red badge to come to the front, please, so that we can see you. Véronique, Pierre, Serge, Isabelle is also with us. So they have a small red badge. So whenever you have a question, any question, a practical question, talking about food, logistics, toilets, bills, invoices, or whatever, I mean, just get in touch with them. They have a red badge. So thank you very much, Véronique, Serge, Isabelle. There's the Wi-Fi access, if you need it, the code is there. And also the site, internet site, Chantal has just shown on the slide, you can see on the side, where you can get more information. The technical team organized everything so that you can have access to this website. The program is at the end of the leaflet we gave you, at the very end of this leaflet, but just to briefly repeat, I mean, we're going to step back a little bit today, First World War and all the memorial avenues, and tomorrow morning then we'll be dealing with the enhancement of the avenues today, and then we'll speak about the Horizon 2030 in the afternoon, so that we move from the past to the future. One more thing maybe regarding my role when we talk with each other, when we see everything which has been prepared, then we would like to listen to you all, half an hour, quarter of an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, share. But so we are also numerous, and we have to be careful about the time. So this is my job, actually. So to make sure that you keep the time which has been allocated to you. So, and you know it, I mean, whether you've been allocated 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, half an hour. So I will always warn you 5 minutes before the end and 1 minute before the end of your speech, so that we can really keep to the time schedule. And this is also very important, so that we keep to our break time, lunch time, evening also, because these are the main gaps where we can share things. So everything was done on purpose, so that we are all together in kind of plenary sessions and to favors of a share and interactive sessions. So we try to organize this with some gaps between the various presentations. So thank you for keeping to the time which has been allocated. Here we are. Now we're going to move on now to Mrs. Maglon, de Jean Ponce, and then there will be a break.